Hey everyone, hope all is well. This is Sarthak from Team Career Edge, and I'm here today to talk to you about what we exactly offer in our consulting fellowship. So let's get started. So there are two kinds of programs available. Firstly, we have the 2.5 months long consulting fellowship program, which is ideally suited for B school and master students as well as working professionals, people who are working right now in full time jobs, and students in their MBA or their master's program, because the 2.5 months long fellowship program is designed to fast track your consulting preparation, and it's for people who want to switch to consulting ASAP. And for 6 months fellowship program, it's specifically designed for undergraduate college students, students who are in their undergrad college right now. Now both the curriculums are exactly the same. The difference is only the terms of pace and speed. So I recommend all those who are in their undergrad right now to opt for the 6 months long fellowship program, and for others who are working professionals and B school or master students to opt for the 2.5 months long fellowship. Now, when it comes to what the fellowship offers, so we have two components. The first is the learning component for management consulting roles, and the second is placement support for management consulting roles. Now, to get started on the learning component, once you enter the program and once you enroll, we have mentors from Accenture who talk to you about what careers in consulting look like, what sort of projects these firms do, and what should be your trajectory once you get in, and different types of consulting. And all these live Zoom sessions are organized on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, 6 to 8:30 p.m. IST, 2.5 hours long. And if you miss a live session, we help you with the recordings. That's not a worry at all. On Saturdays, I take the sessions where we call it founder hours, where I resolve any one-to-one queries, doubts, anything that you have or you're facing conceptually in terms of guesstimates, cases, CV making. And on Sundays, we have the live learning checkpoints. Now, coming back to the flow, in the first checkpoint, we have mentors from Accenture who talk to you about life in consulting, what these firms look for. They debunk a lot of myths that people have around consulting. Now, once that is done, then we get to CV making, which is one of the most crucial checkpoints. Now, there we invite mentors from McKinsey over a weekend who talk to you about how a consulting CV is made, and they share their own templates with you so that you can rebuild your CV from scratch and make sure that the formatting and the layout of the CV is totally up to the mark. And they talk to you about the RAC framework, result action context. They give you feedback on your CVs during the session, and once that is done, what I do from the next day is I start picking CVs randomly on the group that we create, and I give you one-to-one personalized feedback on that. Right? It's one thing for us to learn the best practices from the mentor. It's another to practically apply it on our own. That's why I provide you personalized feedback on your CV drafts after that session, both in terms of layout, for which we provide you with templates of these mentors, as well as content. And it requires some iterations, and I stay there with you to ensure that the CV is finalized. And then we replicate this mechanism for cover letters as well, because all of us would be applying laterally, mostly for a consulting role after the fellowship. Now, once that is done, we get to guesstimates. So for guesstimates, we invite a mentor from BCG, Boston Consulting Group, who talks to us about what are guesstimates, different approaches to solve guesstimate, do's and don'ts. And he also solves 3-4 guesstimates with us in front of us in the live Zoom session on Sunday. And once that is done, what I do from the next day is I start circulating one guesstimate question per day on the group that we have. You pick up pen and paper, solve the guesstimate that I've provided, and on the next day, I give you feedback on your approach, right? Okay, this is the bucket that you missed. This is what you should have considered. This is wrong in your math. And then I give you my approach. And it's an ongoing exercise for 2 weeks, which we do, where I circulate questions, you attempt them, I give you feedback on that personally, and then I give you my solution on that. Because that's the only way to build this muscle of problem solving, which takes time, right? Now, once that is done, we invite another mentor from ZS who talks to us about guesstimates. He solves even more difficult guesstimates with us. And when guesstimates practice, theory, concepts is done, then we move to case interviews. Now, I take that session personally, where I introduce you to case interviews, the typical flow of a case interview conversation, what happens in these interviews, I deep dive on each and every framework, which is profitability, market entry, growth, pricing, M&A, and abstract cases as well. I help you understand how to structure these cases in an actual case interview conversation. After that, we invite mentors in the next checkpoint, where one mentor from Bain becomes the interviewee, another mentor from Dalberg becomes the interviewer, and they enact the role of the interviewer and interviewee to help you practically understand how to fare in a case interview. Right? It's okay to theoretically understand things, it's necessary, but it's not sufficient. Right? So that's why we have two checkpoints specifically focused on live case demonstrations by our mentors. Now, once that is done, what I do is I start picking people randomly on the group that we have, and I solve cases on a one-to-one basis with you for others also to see and observe your mistakes, what you are doing right, and my suggestions to you, right? So please consider this, that the live learning sessions happening on Saturday and Sunday evenings are okay, they're necessary, but we have to be practically very proactive on the group on the weekdays, broadly 30 minutes per day, to solve the guesstimate that I'm providing, to solve the case that I'm giving to you, and to take one-to-one feedback on your CVs. Now, we know that a lot of people who are joining the fellowship are broadly B school students and working professionals and master students. So the live sessions are on weekends, but we have the group which is active on the weekdays, where you just spare 30 to 45 minutes of your time to ensure that you stay tuned to the group, right? In terms of guesstimate solving, case solving, and everything else. And I keep on, creating a lot of videos basis the interview experiences of our mentors and other mentees and share them with you, right? So to fine tune your approach and to build that muscle, you need to attempt those guesstimates and cases with me in front of me and take my feedback. That's very important after the CV is done. Now, barring all of this, we also have a live project, which is a part of the fellowship, where we give you a real life problem statement of a client. We divide you into teams of 4 to 6 consulting fellows, and you practically apply the frameworks that you're learning in the weekend sessions on this real life problem. You're given the client financials, business situation, all of that, and then you present that in terms of a recommendations deck to the client, and the mentors and the client evaluate that and give you feedback. And we obviously give you a fellowship completion certificate as well as a live project certificate for you to showcase that as proof of work in your CVs going forward. Now, once everything is covered, which is, careers in consulting, once we have debunked all the myths, once we have made our CV, once I give you my one-to-one feedback, which takes multiple iterations, once we have made our cover letter, once we have practiced guesstimates with me and in teams, once we have practiced cases with me and in teams that we'll assign you in terms of mock case practice, and once we have done the live case project, then we come to the second part of the fellowship, which is placement support. So what we do then is, once the fellowship is done, what you can do is you can go to the list of the mentors that we have. We have broadly 60 plus mentors on board now from the top 13 firms, which is McKinsey, Bain, BCG, PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, Accenture, EY, Dalberg, Samagra, the Britspan Group, and other boutiques as well, like LEK, Alvarez and Marcel. We share that list with you. You go to the careers page of your target firm. Let's say your target firm is Accenture or BCG. You see the relevant opening which fits you, and then you can share your updated and finalized CV and cover letter, which I have helped you in creating during the fellowship, with that job link with us. And we, share it with our mentor who's working in that target firm, let's say BCG. The mentor evaluates the CV and CL and then passes it on to the team's recruiter for the team recruiter to evaluate your candidature and give you an interview call back post the shortlist is done. This is how we go about placement support, which is we have 60 plus mentors on board, and we open that access to our mentor network for employee referrals for you once you are done with the fellowship and once you successfully complete all the checkpoints. Now, in terms of hardcore metrics, we track two metrics. First is ratio of consulting fellows seeking placement support, getting referred and getting into a consulting or a strategy role, within 2 months of program completion. That's 40 to 50%. The second is ratio of fellows seeking placement support, getting referred, and getting into a consulting role within 6 months of program completion. That's 70 to 80%. Why is that higher? Because let's say Sarthak is applying for a role with Accenture today. Let's say he does not get through the interview because he has a silly mistake in a guesstimate, or he is not able to perform in the case very well. Now he can come back to the CE team as an alum and seek a referral or put a referral request with a relevant job link in some other organization, let's say BCG or Deloitte or EY or Accenture or McKinsey, right? So that's how we go about it. That's why the placement ratio increases over time. Now, all support in terms of resources, live session recordings, access to me stays with you beyond the fellowship as well. And we add you to an alumni group where we keep on sharing relevant opportunities from and beyond consulting with you. So please don't worry about it. So all access stays with you. And on Saturdays, like I mentioned earlier, I take the founder hours doubt solving session so that it does not get overwhelming for you, right? Because for a lot of us, solving guesstimates cases would be something that we would be doing for the first time. That's why I take out time on every Saturday to resolve all conceptual queries in parallel with the live learning sessions. And before I sign off, just one request. Once you enroll, you can obviously browse, scroll through the page, go through the testimonials, video testimonials, go through the fellowship curriculum in a textual format, and click on register now. The team will reach out and you can talk and you can explore the fellowship further and sign up. But one thing is that you have to be equally proactive, right? You have to ensure that you stay tuned to the WhatsApp group for 30 minutes in a day, whenever your schedule allows. But ensure that you are making your CV, ensure that you're taking out time to solve guesstimates with me beyond the live sessions, ensure that you're solving cases within the case teams that we'll make and also with me on the group, because that's very important, right? And ensure that you are completing the live project as well. The only way to get better, get a shortlist, clear the interviews is when you are as involved as us in the fellowship, right? I am personally moderating the group that you're joining. I am personally curating your learning experience in terms of CV making, guesstimates, cases. I'll also be taking a case interview basic session for you in the fellowship. That's only because the whole arrangement of this placement support is based on trust. The organization is trusting that employee to refer good people. That employee who's a mentor with us is trusting me to ensure that whoever is being referred is driven enough, is serious enough for this, right? So that's there. Feel free to go through the page, fill the Google form, and the team will reach out shortly. Thank you.